Hi everyone. I hope you can hear me. If not, please text the chat session. So before I can start, I just want to know whether you guys can hear the recording, hear the session. Okay, very good evening to one and all on behalf of Chennai chapter, and I welcome you all for this session. And on the topic CBAP version 3, what is it and how I did it. First of all, I welcome the presenters, Shweta, Rohit, and Sunit Singh. So all the three are here the CBAP version 3, and they are very guided on this and how to clear the CBAP. Rohit, I'm getting background voice. Can you mute it?
Hi, actually, there's no sound from my end. I think somebody has to work on the rest.
Just give a minute. Puneet, can you mute it? And Shweta, you also mute it, please. And Rohit, you can also mute it. I'll just let you know when we can start. Okay? Okay, great. Now it's good. Okay. I'll hand over the call to Shweta. She'll start with the presentation. And I once again thank you all for joining this presentation. And the session will go like this. We have a prepared material. But at the end of the webinar, we plan to have more question and answer sessions wherein you guys can interact more about how to handle how to clear the exam, basically. So how they have cleared the exam. Okay, Shweta, please take over.
Hey, thanks, Shrikant. Hello, everyone. Very good evening to all of you. All the aspirants of CBAP and CCBA here. To start with the presentation, Shrikant, could you please move on to the next slide? So as Shrikant mentioned, the agenda or the objective of this webinar is to understand the IIB certifications, the certification requirements, and precisely we'll talk about our experiences on how we have thought of attempting the examination and what is the process that we have been following in our own CBAP journey, so to say.
Rahul, can you mute it? Rahul, can you unmute yourself? Because, okay, great. Thanks. Shweta, please continue, sorry.
Yeah, could you just move on to the next slide then?
Yes, you can proceed, Shweta.
Yeah, just change the slide now, the second one. Oh, I think we've gone too far. Anyways, so there are there are four certifications level, starting with ECBA, which is for beginners who have just entered the BA practice. Then a CCBA for people with more than 2 to 3 years of experience, CBAP for people with 5+ years of experience, and the newly introduced CBATL is for people with 10+ years of experience. Now, quickly going through the eligibility requirements, like I mentioned. So for CCBA, it comes down to 3,750 hours of BA experience in the past 7 years. And from BA knowledge point of view, you should have at least worked on 2 of the knowledge areas for 900+ hours, and the remaining 4 knowledge areas for at least 500+ hours. So in the entire cycle or in the entire journey, BA journey of your career, you could probably divide your work experience into these 6 knowledge areas and estimate how many hours you have spent. For CBAP, this number increases to 7,500 hours in the past 10 years, and 900 hours plus for each of the 4 knowledge areas out of the 6. Professional development hours, these are professional training hours that you could have taken and probably in your organization or IIB accredited organizations, just like Velicate here. This is a sample blueprint of what is the percentage of questions that are asked in each of the knowledge areas. To note, the maximum number of questions come from requirements analysis and design definition. After that, the percentages are more or less equivalent to BAPM, elicitation collaboration, requirement lifecycle, solution evaluation. Next one, please.
That's it.
Then we move ahead to CBAP or CCBA preparation roadmap.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
No, I'm still seeing exam blueprint, yeah. No, it's not refreshed yet, I think.
I think you can open your presentation and
okay.
Go through. I'll change accordingly.
Okay, cool. So moving on, it is the CBAP preparation roadmap. You probably would have seen this roadmap in the watermark guide or even in the IIBA website. Something similar is put up. It talks about the preliminary days of going through the BA first, then the preparation, making it or deciding to attempt for the examination, seeing your eligibility, preparing and gathering those requirements for, and then the preparation times slot, which you will see for all 3 of us when we talk about our journey is different and how we have coped through it, and then the final exam date. So let me just talk about my CBAP journey here, keeping in line with this roadmap itself. So for me, my exam date was Feb 17th, 2017, and the first time that I decided to attempt for CBAP was in September 2016. Not a very good time for me, because that time when I really logged into IIBA to find out what is the eligibility criteria and how to go about it, I came to know that BA version 2 was going to be that was the last attempt for giving that exam, and there is a new version that is being launched, and the examination would be completely new. The setup is new. So that's when I spoke to a few of my colleagues who had already given version 2 exam. I got some notes from them, certain charts that they had, and I saw that there is a lot of difference in the way the guide works actually. But when I read BA version 3, to be very honest, when I saw the BACCM model, I could relate it to it much more than the time when I had first read BA version 2, close to 5 years before when I started as a BA. So that's where then I decided that probably this is not the right time for me. I need to wait for my understanding and to find out, basically to find out if there are more people who have studied through BA version 3. So I came to know about few of the colleagues, and then I gave it one reading. I downloaded the BA book. I gave it one reading. And then I was looking for videos. That's when I found out, one of my colleagues actually mentioned about Surendra sir, and I joined the session. But I joined that session in December. So from September to December, it took a lot of time for me to actually find out the time to devote for this exam. And in December, second week is when I attended the sessions. I could actually relate to BA work a lot more than I had done in the first reading. A lot of things that were practiced within the organizations, so to say, in the projects that I worked were different than what the BA practice talked about. And so most of the times I could not relate to the book basically. But when we took the sessions, Surendra sir mentioned, or he actually made us read the BA book along with the sessions for the 2 weeks that he conducted them, and with the help of his experience, his case studies or examples that he has faced in the industry, it really made sense for us. So this is one way that I learned, but there are other institutes and other people as well who conduct them, and it will definitely help all of you in that sense. Moving on, from December to February, it was a very short notice that I was actually promising myself to appear for the exam. But nonetheless, I did work for it, and I had studied close to 3 hours per day, if not more, minimum of 3 hours every day. And I started with BA Book first. The mnemonics that were there, the watermark tables that Sir had shared, with the help of them, I also made my own notes reading the BA book. I think two to 3 weeks later, I received the guide as well, and the guide also, I would say it made even more sense to me because there were quite a few examples and cases and do's and don'ts that were mentioned that is not part of the BA book verbose. So this added a new dimension into the learning, and that's how I proceeded. I studied from BA book, the mnemonics, the tables, and the guide, and ultimately I also made my own set of charts and some scribbled notes to remember this. What I did was I started chapter wise with BACCM first and BAPM and so on and so forth. After each chapter, I attempted the sample test on watermark learning. Then the combination of the knowledge area along with underlying competencies, along with techniques, along with the BACCM. So there were a group of questions and different types of questions that used to come on in the sample test in the 50 question set, or even for that matter 7 question set. So this gave more confidence to me while I was preparing, and I actually finished preparing the entire BA book. It took me around close to a month. So by Jan end only, I had completed the first thorough reading, I would say. And then I spoke to Sir about this. I told him where I stand. In between, I attempted 2 mock tests also, and I told him where I stand and whether whether I should be even giving the exam now that I know where I stand. because this was a new exam, a new attempt. The rules had changed from version 2. We didn't know what would be the passing grades, and we would be the part of the study also. So there were a lot of apprehensions before attempting, and he helped me sort that out. And then I proceeded and took the exam date. Within 15 days, to be very honest, I got the exam date. And then it was no turning back. I had gone through those notes again in the last 15 days, every day. Whenever I'm traveling, whenever I had some free time, sometimes when I am attending certain sessions, I would just go back to my notes and see if it made sense when we were actually doing some certain planning in the project. And so absolutely, when I'm saying that I was studying, I also made it a point that I could use that thing in my professional experience, so that I remember it more accurately, because the exams are definitely case study based, but certain elements that BABOK talks about, we may not follow the same flow, the input-output flow that is there at the end of each of the tasks. So when you're learning, try and utilize it in your professional experience also, and see whether it does make sense, or it changes other people's perception at the same time. And my colleagues, they were also impressed, to say, because they also learned something in the process that the practice largely across the globe follows. So it after, I think, so the last 2 weeks, a rereading of all those notes of mine, the charts, the tables, they helped. So this would have been like a crash session for me every day. I would go it iteratively, right from start of BACCM till the techniques. Even perception, perspectives that is a part of the, but not included in the question set. It does help because, and probably we'll talk about it, all three of us will talk about it later also. It does help when the case studies are there, when the questions are in the form of case studies. So one reading of underlying competencies and perspectives should be really helpful. Talking about the day before and day of my exam. Day before, first of all, I sorted out my path as to when I'm going to go, how I'm going to go, if I need a cab, and what time it should be called, what could be the traffic in the same, because I gave the test early in the morning at 12, that is the second slot. The center was 2 hours away from my place, so I tracked for cabs at that time and how much traffic it is generally on any weekday. Based on that, post that, I attempted a final simulation exam. I don't know whether I should suggest this to everybody, but this is my way of learning. I wanted to still see how I scored. There was no change from the one that I gave previously. I had exact same score. So that made me sure that, I probably did not lose it yet, and I can still give it. A sound sleep in the night. Don't overexhaust yourself. Have a very healthy breakfast in the morning, because 3.5 hours, I don't think it's 3.5 hours becomes very difficult when you're in an exam center, and an afternoon set would definitely not help. So have a very healthy breakfast. Carry some fruit or a snack or some juice along the way. They do allow to take a 5 or 10 minute break during the exam. You're not allowed to carry any stuff with you inside, not even an ID card. They will be frisking at the centers, and you would get some material to write down basically. So there'll be markers and laminated sheets and duster to do any sort of calculation or any sort of notes inside the exam. During the exam, again, I started off right from the first question. So So mainly basic, all of them were case study based. So there were at least a page or 1.5 page questions, 1.5 page case study, and then there would be around 6 to 8 questions at the end of each case study with 4 MCQs. There were quite a few numerical questions. So what I did was I immediately wrote down the mnemonics and certain mnemonics that I created in the process of learning. I wrote them down. There were few numericals also in the exam, so I think 8 to be precise in my exam, and they were mostly future value based. They were cost benefit analysis. Not very difficult to calculate. Some range of values were given, so even if the numbers were in millions or in that sense, we could still I could still attempt it and work it out. I finished my exam in 3 hours, so that was way beyond what I practiced. It took a really long time for me to finish the exam. I only had half an hour to go through questions that I had marked for proceeding or rechecking, and to go through the entire set all over again, hoping that I have not marked any answer wrongly than what I had prepared for or what I was hoping to. That's it. Then I really finished my exam on a very short note. On a very short timeline. Basically, I did not have enough time to go through it all over again. And
so you exhausted the complete time?
Yeah, I completed in 3 hours. It was not like that I could not attempt anything. I did attempt all of them, but I was hoping to at least have 1 hour at my hand to go through everything all over again and see if my calculations were correct again, because I did them only once and I just ticked the answers. And the 8 numericals was a surprise to me because I had not practiced any numericals. So not just one, there were 8. So yeah, so I had that apprehension during the exam, but yes, I completed within the time. So that's about my journey. I think I've taken a lot of time, and I'll move ahead with Puneet.
Yeah, Puneet, please shed some light on how you cracked. What's your preparation and how you were able to crack the exam? Other than if any specific techniques you are used during the course of your preparation?
Yeah, thanks Shrikant for introducing me. Hi friends, good evening to all. Thank you Shweta for setting up the grounds for everyone to know how they should typically be preparing for the CBAP or the CCBA exams. What they all they need to go through. I would be quickly run through my preparations and everything, how I proceeded with the examinations. I'll not take as much as time what Shweta did. For my journey, I started somewhere around in October, when I decided to give the CBAP examination. I have been a BA for some time, but have never thought of, achieving, attaining any formalized education, certification. So this is when I decided. I got to know about the CBAP examinations, and I applied for my application, and after successfully, getting the approval from the IABA, I went. So I had already gone through these training and achieved these PDUs. So what I typically did, I gave myself at least 3 months. I decided upon the date first. That's what I did. I actually went and chose the date, which was the January 1st week, and I had given myself a timeline of at least 3 months before I could give the CBAP examinations. So what I used to do, I had a very hectic work hours, but still I could manage at least 2 to 3 hours a day, for at least 2 months at a stretch, So I could you really get to the crux of what the version 3 is. I had no inkling of what version 2 was, but had some reference of what version 2 would be. So I mostly prepared the version 3 only. So that was kind of fresh to me. I typically took the Velicate technologies as a learning stream for my CBAP journey, and obviously along with the CBAP preparation, I used to take the watermark learning examination, the simulation test. So what I used to do, typically cover one knowledge area and then, go and log into the watermark sampling thing, and do around 50 to 100 questions every, for that knowledge area. So by the time, I was near to my examination, I was, I had prepared enough, then I could, be confident to clear the exams. But since version 3 is a new concept, and there's already a lot of comments around, that it's getting tough and tougher than the normal version 2 CBAP was. So that fear was still there, that there is still, a gap, or, there is still some kind of preparation that might be needed, because I wasn't aware what kind of questions are there. Even the watermark, sampling were not too much sure, if the similar questions are going to be there. But out of the experience, I am sure they did a brilliant job of giving those sampling questions out, So I think one thing I would like to suggest to people, that what I did was, just before the exam, I at least took a week's holiday from the office, and I generally used to prepare every day, each knowledge area, give us a sample test paper, probably after, that knowledge area and very important thing that is there, that you need to know your techniques very well. So while you're, there are 6 knowledge areas in the version 3, along with that, at least you should be aware, and a bad part of this, or maybe good part of this book, there's at least 500 pages that you have to go through. So, and at least 250 pages are dedicated to techniques. So what I used to do, along with the knowledge areas, every day I used to read, 10 to 15 techniques, so that at least with the, knowledge area, I'm also preparing for the techniques in parallel. Because while I was preparing or giving the simulation test, a lot of these techniques were gelled along with, the questions that were coming in the watermark sampling test also. So that gave me a, kind of a stuff, that I have to prepare my techniques also very well. One very important thing, I think, once you are in a kind of a study mode, you stress yourself a lot. So what I used to do, I used to do some kind of physical activity, probably at the day end or after, finishing a hectic 5 to 6 hours of studies from the IABA, book, Babak book, and of course the watermark learning, that guide also is a very good guide for us. So I used to go for running, cycling, I at least gave 2 simulation tests before the exam day. That helped, because I was in the mindset, I was prepared how I would be, typically attempting the questions that day. During the exam day, in fact, on the exam day, I had gone there at least 1 hour, early. So because I'm in Delhi, and Delhi traffic sometimes is so heavy, that it is always difficult to reach a long distance, which center was at least 35-40 kilometers away. So I reached there at least an hour early, drank a lot of water, brought myself in the mindset of giving the exam, and a very good thing that you should typically be doing that you do a little bit of brain dump. While I was preparing for the examination, I used to write all the small mnemonics, and I used to remember all those mnemonic and notes. First thing I did, at first 15 minutes from the reference of Surinder sir, I brain dumped those mnemonics on that sheet that was given to us, and that really helped in the exam. Another important thing you should be doing within the exam time is that you should take that necessary 10 minutes of break. Once you're I completed after 70% of my paper, I took that 10 minutes of break, which really helped. I came up from the break, again afresh. To my surprise, there were a lot of case studies questions in the examinations, which I don't know whether they helped me or, in fact, I loved attempting those case studies. And as Shweta mentioned, they were around 8 to 10 numerical calculations based. There was no calculator provided, but you won't really need those calculators for these kind of questions. Rather you'll have to handle those kind of questions. I think key things, give yourself, I would end my thing that you should first give yourself a deadline that when you would be giving the examination. That's very important. Prepare through BABOK. Take a reference help from watermarking, study guide. It's a very good guide. And give your exams. I would say best of luck to everyone who's probably is planning to give exams sometimes or maybe giving the exams. Shrikant, that would be all,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Puneet. I think we can. It was very good. How you cracked the exam. Like I can invite Logit.
Yeah, thanks, Srinath, and thanks, Puneet and Shweta, for sharing your journey of CBAP. Good evening, everyone. So, my preparation was, quite quick and short durations. My target was just 20 days. The reason behind that, I have to travel to on-site, and for that, I thought, if I went to on-site, it's very difficult to prepare and all. So, all the attendees, particularly to all attendees who are ready to give the exam within 1 month, I think it's, I'm just sharing my experience to you because I just cleared in 20 days. So, the main trick was that don't by heart anything. Okay, don't, just digest everything. What needs to be done is as Shweta and Puneet have shared, try to go through the knowledge area. If you start with the first knowledge area with, the watermark guide, you will feel it's too much to read the, elements, the input and outputs, and to, see some of the techniques associated with that. So the first day when you start, it's quite natural. You will feel some type of, difficult to by heart and all to understand the concept. But what is my suggestion is, read again 2 times, read again 3 times. So once you are very confident, I am sure you will understand the concept. So once you are done with the first knowledge area, try to go to the drill down, go to the watermark question, login credential and log into that and give the drill down exam 25 questions of that knowledge area. So the first attempt you will do, you might have scored maybe 15 or 16 questions. But again, what you do is the next day when you start the new knowledge area, try to revise the same knowledge area which you have revised earlier. The first one. So it will give you confidence actually. And the second time when you give the drill down, what you're going to do, achieve is you're going to achieve more score what you have earlier scored it. I'm sorry, it will be more than 20 and all. So this is how it will give you a confidence level each and every day. So whenever you revise and you start with the new knowledge area, revise the earlier one, give the drill down, and don't by heart anything. Try to understand the concept. And the prime reason people fails in the CBAP, most of the candidates, even when they call me and ask I failed last time in V2, when how I'm going to do with the V3, it's when because some of the new things is being added. So the main is they try to relate with your real life. Don't try to relate with your day-to-day. What you have done in your BA practices. Try to stick to the BABOK, what they have described the BA task and techniques, because our motive is to pass the examination, right? So this is the way I have done it, and when you go through the BABOK, and what I can say, the first thing is BABOK is a Bible for every business analyst. So go to the BABOK 2 times, 3 times. It's very difficult to understand the language it's being explained. But once you again read the watermark guide, it's being replicated in a very simple and concise manner. So what I can say, if you are done with the BABOK 1 or 2 times, start with your guide, watermark guide, focus on that, because it's structured in such a way that everything is fragmented in a very clear and with examples and all. So take an example of techniques. So what I can say, if you go done with your knowledge area, entire 6 knowledge area, and you are very scared how to go through entire 120 or I think more than 800 techniques are there, right? So how to digest all those techniques with more detail. So the simple way is focus on the study guide and take an example if suppose you are studying the financial analysis, right? It is one of the techniques. So understand what is the purpose of that technique, right? why it is being used in this playbook, and what are the different elements in that. So you will see different types of elements in financial analysis like cost of change, total cost of ownership. So try to understand actually why it is being used in in a BA practices, and why the other techniques, I mean like other types of financial analysis is being used in other way. So try to understand the purpose of each and every element. So in this way you are trying to drill down each and every element, right? And at the last try to see what are the practical examples for each technique, the way it is being used. So this is the way you can cover entire techniques in details, and this is what I have done. And it was just 20 days I cracked the examination. So it's nothing tough. It is only tough if you by heart. It is not going to be tough if you try to understand the concept. Try to revise it. Try to understand the mnemonics. Try to you can by heart the mnemonics. Yeah, that is fine. But don't by heart the entire detail level of elements and all. Try to understand that. Try to understand the examples and all. And this is what my journey was like. And try to take a leave before 3 days and all of the exam. Try to schedule your exam in the Tuesday or Monday, so that you can take a 3 days working day leave before that, and Saturday Sunday will be your again an added leave for you. So in this way you can take overall 5 days leave and fully focus on your entire target. And this is what my journey was. So yes, enough, Srikant. I'm done with that.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Rohit. Now I think with 20 days time, you are clearing a CBAP. That is really great to know, and everyone likes to do that. But I think there's a fear of going for the exam. Okay. Now let's take the question and answer. I request that everyone to post the questions on the message board so that no team can look through it and they'll respond, they'll share their experience. So please, any questions, you can post it on the chat window. I think I have a question. Basically, the question was like, every knowledge area is having an input and output, and those output are used in some other knowledge areas, right? So how you are able to relate, or how do you able to memorize those things? Like, so can you share a bit on that?
Yeah. To answer your question, actually, don't try to relate, because if you go to the some knowledge area, like your output will be not the input of the next knowledge area, so it will be a baffling to you, right? So it's a quite confusion. So don't by heart. Try to see, if you by heart, again, once the question is being asked in CBAP, you will try to see like, okay, if this is the output, maybe this will be the input of the next knowledge area. I think till 2 or 3 knowledge area, the output, you can say the elements of suppose BAPM, like in BAPM, some inputs are the output of the next element, but if you see the next knowledge area like requirement analysis and design definition, the input and outputs are not same. So don't do this practice, what I can suggest. Try to understand the input, try to understand the output, that's all. Try to understand the concept.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. And we have a question from Sarada. Is there any prerequisite for writing CBAP? Puneet or
yeah, Sharda, I can take that question. Sharda, yes, there is a prerequisite. You have to at least have 5 years of BA experience and at least 7,500 hours of experience as a BA. So there is the application that when you're submitting it, they will probably ask you to have your experience shared for each knowledge areas. So yeah, that's the prerequisite for having a BA. CBAP, and of course the mandatory 5 days of training, you will 35 hours of training that you would need to submit while you're submitting your application. Earlier it was 3 days, which was 21 hours for version 2. Now version 3 has included at least 35 hours, which is probably comes out to be 5 days of training.
The Shada has one more question. I have 10 years experience in IT but not in BA.
So I think probably you need to see, in the 10 years of experience, what kind of experience you had done for a business and as a business analyst role. Accordingly, you can kind of submit that application. So at least 7,500 hours of BA experience is required for submitting the application. Can't do anything.
Yeah. So to answer this question, actually, since you said you have 10 years of experience in that, try to see entire 6 knowledge area. So which knowledge area actually you contributed some hours. So that you can add up. So it is not like if you didn't do the BA work. I mean, if your role is not BA and you are project manager, but at least one of the knowledge area you have contributed at. That is most important.
We have a question from Anand. I hope Shada it's okay for you. You need to be a BA to get experience. You might have done some tasks or hours related to BA tasks. You can check the knowledge areas. You might have done enough experience over the past 10 years. So we can consider those as a BA experience. And I come to the Anand question. What was the fourth certification mentioned for the people with 10 years experience?
Okay, so I think the CBAP is the first one to go because CBAPL is not being even announced like when they are going to introduce that. So CBAP is the only, I think quite noisy there. Somebody,
As per our knowledge, it is like they will come up with a clear plan by end of September. So as of now, we don't have much clear idea for the fourth certification. So going on to the Vinod Kumar question, does the simulation, watermark simulation exam and study guide really helpful in attempting the exam? What approach did you follow to attempt the scenario-based question?
Yeah, so I think like it's really going to help you. So don't focus first on simulation. Focus simulation exam only when you are very near to your examination date, 1 week before. Try to get into a drill down because that part you can give more strength to your each and every specific knowledge area. So take an example like requirement analysis and design definition consists of 30 questions, right, out of 120. So see this strategy. Try to focus more which knowledge area consists more questions and give that drill down exam to be more confident in that. Simulation exam, one stress if you are good to go with all the knowledge area like you are very confident in 6 knowledge area, then you can give that simulation exam. But what I can suggest is if you are going in a very initial stage and try to go to the drill down after completing each knowledge area. That is the best practice.
I hope Vinod Kumar, does it answer your question? Okay, let's go with the next question. Anand, where can we have access to CBAP certification study guide?
Well, this was provided to us by Velicate when we subscribe to the online sessions. So otherwise also you could log into Watermark Learning and subscribe this particular guide online.
It's available on Amazon also.
Yeah, it's available on I think it's on Amazon as well. So you can take it from, you can get the study guide and even the exams online from the Amazon Watermark Learning.
Yeah, and there is no PDF for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they don't have any online PDF version for this. If you're looking for any PDF version for the Watermark, they don't have a online version for this book. They don't deliberately do that.
They also have something called as flashcards, which but I don't know. I mean, I have not used them. It may be useful for certain people.
Yeah.
Thanks. Next question, I think Ashok. Hi Ashok, how are you? Hope you are doing good. Could you please share what type of numerical based questions were asked?
All right.
Any thoughts on this?
So numerical questions will be few. It will be, hardly it will be 5 questions and all out of 120, I think. But scenario-wise questions will be more. So what is the main takeaway is like try to first pass. Okay. So the main thing is like try to answer all your short questions first out of 120 in one stretch within 1.5 hours. Remaining hours, try to read the scenario-wise questions very minutely, very carefully, and in a very patiently. Because if you read 1-2 page scenario-wise, again you will not understand the question. So read 2 times because you have enough time. You have already answered the short questions. So numerical questions will be not much. And basically, if it is coming like estimations and all, so there is a direct formula in the watermark guide. So try to read the formula. Like suppose, for example, there might be a question from ROI. So if you know the formula, you can directly use that formula to get answers.
Yeah. Could be a question like taking out the net profit value, NPV. So that could be another question that was there.
Right.
I think you
there
can.
was also.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So there was another sample of question was it was related to vendor management. If you have 3 RFPs and each of them has quoted some value quotations are in the RFQ. How do you go about selecting the vendor? So there were few numbers in each of them. There were few qualities that were part of the requirement that were mentioned in the RFP and RFQ, and then how you would approach the vendor or approach the selection of the vendor. So such kind of questions were there.
So for that questions, you need to answer numerically. I mean, any particular numerical question related to that history, right?
Correct. So,
okay.
I mean, you don't need to really prepare for them. They are a pretty generalized question. You should be able to attempt if you've gone through your BA book carefully.
Okay, great. Oh, Ashok, is it okay for you? I mean, okay. Next question. For 5 years for BA work experience, do you suggest to go with CCBA or CBAP, considering the level of complexity and success criteria? Okay. Puneet?
Yeah, I don't know really what to say, Vinod, out here, unless until you really can qualify to give a CBAP exam and, you think that you are prepared to give that examination, you should go for. But I am sure, you need to meet at least the basic, BA, the guidelines for you to clear the CBAP examination,
Actually, I would like to take this up. To be very honest, I have 7.5 years of experience, out of which only 5 years is BA. And so this is precisely what I've gone through. I had trouble writing my experience in the application, first of all, because I had not covered many of the knowledge areas entirely. It definitely helped when I consulted with Surendra to classify my experience in each of the knowledge areas. On a very high level, you might feel that you were not part of elicitation so much or requirement and design so much. So please go through each of these knowledge areas first. That is very important. That helps you to classify where you stand and how much of contribution you have given. That is one, to satisfy the criteria within 5 years. The second part of it is either it is CCBA or CBAP. The material is same that you have to go through. It is only the matter of questions that are there. So there will be scenario-based questions in CCBA, a small scenario, but in CBAP it will be a case study. So you will be able to relate to both of them equally, is what I feel. However, the reading of BA book is more important. So if you think that you are comfortable with BA book and you can relate to your work, then go ahead with CBAP. That has more value compared to CCBA at this stage of experience. That is what I would say.
Yes, I would suggest you to go for CBAP, considering the level of experience you have. Since you have 5 years experience, if you can show the experience related to BA work, then I would suggest you prepare for CBAP so that you can, there's no need to anyway, you, at one point of time you have to do the CBAP. If you are done with CCBA, at 2 to 3 years down the line, you will be doing the CBAP. So there's a cost involved, the time and money involved. So I would suggest you to go ahead with CBAP. Okay. Next question is on is subscribing to watermark necessary or any workaround?
No, I'll take this question. Anand, there is absolutely no requirement or necessity that you need to subscribe to watermark to clear the exam. Very more important is that you understand the BABOK, how the knowledge areas are laid out. Watermark does help you out in preparing or giving the simulation exams, because then you're already in that mindset of giving those exams, so you don't have to really worry. You get to know what kind of questions that would probably come, because there are not really high material available online or by the IABA from the perspective of the sample questions, so they are very limited. So this is watermark is what which helps you, at least giving you a good decent kind of a glossary of questions that you would rather want to prepare for. So it does help. So I would suggest, if you can manage to go through watermark, do go. And the pass percentage that you asked, not really sure, because CBAP does not declare the percentage that we had. But I think it's more or less, if you are having more than 80%, you're good.
Is it important to invest a lot of time and effort on perspective to attempt the question? What kind of techniques can we expect from this section?
Yeah, this is exactly what we were discussing a few 1 or 2 days back. Perspective, not very important, because there would not be a direct question on perspective. However, it is equally important to give at least one reading when you are reading the BA book, precisely because I had a question where the case study was agile based. So there was no direct question on the agile and scrum practices. However, the flow that was given was agile. So that is what I would like to say. So giving one reading of perspective would not harm.
Would it possible to share the cheat sheets and cards? Very good question. Please.
We had no cheat reads or cards. We just followed the BABOK prepared small notes on mnemonics, which we were referring to the watermark. I was referring to the watermark study table guide, which also helped me. I don't know whether Rohit or Shweta did, but
yeah, that's the same.
The study tables guide, really helped me. But I don't have any cheat sheets or that we prepared, but there were small notes which probably now are destroyed.
So actually there's nothing direct in this case. So if you have a case study, there is no through and through that if this is the question, this is the answer. Nothing of that sort was there. It is just understanding or probably memorizing few of the terminologies in the BA book for which we have the mnemonics, but nothing sort of a short cheat sheet like that.
Is it all case study questions or multiple choice questions?
So it's a case study basically. You will have at least a page of a story, and on that story there will be a question, and that question has 4 MCQ answers. So out of which you'll have to select one.
Yeah, but there were a lot of case study questions that we did, and I enjoyed it.
Each case study, okay, how many questions are there for each case study, roughly?
Starting from 2, the shortest one, to ranging to up to 8 for few of the numericals.
Okay. So next question, only case studies.
Yeah, they were all case studies. I think I remember one case study where the one of the question talked about the BACCM. So this was a direct answer, not directly relating to the case study, but yes, it prepares the background for the case study. But yes, all case studies, no direct questions on elements or tasks or input-output, nothing of that sort. That probably, if you are using watermark, you would see some questions on those lines, but that is not how the final exam was.
Okay, I think we come to the end of the session. We are almost 1 hour now. Do you have any last questions? Do you have anybody have any questions now? You can, the final question, you can take it up. Okay. Thanks. Okay, fine. Then I would like to thank Shweta, Sunit, and Rohit for taking the time and explaining their journey towards cracking the CBAP exam. And thanks a lot, guys. And
Thank you so much.
Thanks to all.
Thanks, Shrikant, and yeah, best of luck all of you for your CBAP journey, and thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.